This is a presentation of RVT Entertainment.
This isn't about the dead, it's about the living. It's about my mother. It's about my sister. It's about my wife. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to ungoddamn deniable.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true.
Because I'm better than you, and you know it.
In the back, there are men and women, seasoned professionals, dues paid in full, gunning to be the best.
I'll always light the way, and all you have to do is let me in.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Hey, hi, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wrestle-Cast, presented by RVT Entertainment on Podomatic.com, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you may find this fine audio recording live on RVT Entertainment's official Twitch.tv channel. We talk about professional wrestling both for the mainstream and the independent scene. My name is Matty. That is TWK.
CJ, get yourself some Satan. You need Satan in your life, goddammit.
Dude, do not. No. Enough. Why? Why Satan?
Because he brought the thing again. He brought the meme that Shin keeps sharing around.
T-Dub, it is an obvious and internet meme-ly fact that friends can fuck. Get over it.
No, never!
Joining us as always, ladies and gentlemen, our third chair, our third man, the man himself, Shintigercurl.
It's dim sum time.
Folks, if you were not there for the Rift Zone show last night, you missed it. Shin had been promising a particular fan picture thing.
He promised to selfie of a wrestler.
That too. But he trolled you. In fact, he technically trolled all of us. But that's another story for another day. No, you know what he did? He presented a picture, and I'm not going to show it here because I don't want to lose my T-dub here. But he showed a picture of what would happen if Zelda and Sonic actually, mated. It's a beautiful thing. Her name is Sonia. And Link is going, I could have had that.
Don't worry about Link. He has Samus.
Well, it does. Well, you know what? It does make sense. I mean, there is a Link to the Past Super Metroid randomizer, combo randomizer right there. So it had happened. Also, a big thank you to Mike Shell, 44 months. For every rotation I've completed around the sun. Don't remind me, I'm turning 35 next month. Literally a day removed from but literally a month exactly from yesterday, I'm turning 35.
That's not bad.
You say that, but I'm like, I should not be. Look, I am not looking forward to that.
How do you think I feel? I'm turning 39 this year.
Y'all make me feel like a baby.
You are a baby.
Yeah, technically, TWR. Technically.
I am 30.
Well, you're acting like a goddamn baby over that Sonya picture. Anyway, we were trying to get a couple of jabs in, a couple of chuckles here because, one, we got the time for it because we got a whole 90-minute show back, or as long as we can take, probably between 90 to 2 hours because we don't have a Dynamite to worry about. And I'll get to that in a few seconds, of course. And we're going to need it because Hell in a Cell happened, and It happened again. Look, I know for a fact that most of these people that got the slip are going to be fine. But there is a part of me that just like, this one hurt a little more than it should have. Let's put it that way. We'll get to that in a few seconds. Before we do anything else, a little bit of housekeeping. As you will no doubt notice, for those listening to the VOD or watching the VOD or the audio version on Podomatic and Spotify. Hey, we're more than likely to be going over 60 minutes. The next time we're going under the 60-minute time limit will be the debut of TNT Rampage, AEW Rampage. Whoops, my mouth did it again. So we're gonna do 60 minutes in anticipation of the debut, and we're gonna give the live Rampage the room it wants. But for those wondering, after that debut on August 13th, I'm not going 60-minute shows. Took a minute to think about it. It's like, dude, I want my show, man. I want my 90 minutes. I don't care if some of y'all might be going, well, 60 minutes is too long. It's my fucking show, not yours. So you know what? I'm going 90 minutes. Or, I'm going to go over it. If it means you got to listen to us instead of Jim Ross, so be it. They could have a world championship all night long kind of match, 60-minute Iron Man that new. Don't care. My show. That being said, we're back here, and we have to take care of Hell in a Cell. So we're going to take care of that, and then we'll take care of the List O releases out of the WWE production house, and then we'll take care of the rest of the news and all that stuff. There's no clip. I didn't feel like I needed a clip this week simply because there's a lot to talk about, and obviously a whole pile more got to be added at the last minute this particular day. Also, we got 90 minutes. Let's take advantage of it. No need for breaks. No need to have nothing. I got two guys that could go a long time. So, shall we get to it?
Before we get to that, I got a little business to take care of myself.
Sure.
Coworker Randy gave me a new Mountain Dew to try. Mountain Dew Baja Flash.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've heard that they were selling cases of that. I know Baja Blast is awesome.
So yeah, I've never tasted this before. First time tasting it's apparently a mixture of pineapple coconut flavor.
Ew.
Ah.
So if this isn't good, then I have myself some Mountain Dew Major Melon to wash it down. So let's bottoms up, see how this goes.
Spit it out. Just spit it out.
Not terrible.
Bill, spit it out. Eat it. That Mountain Dew is toxic to your body.
Why are you saying spit it out?
It's Mountain Dew. Plus, it's coconut and pineapple. It double sucks.
I usually hate coconut with every fiber of my being, but this, not terrible. And people in the chat are calling it Mountain Dew Pina Colada.
That's what it sounds like to me, like coconut and pineapple. I mean, that sounds like a pina colada.
If you like pina coladas, like a
Songs in the rain.
Like Mountain Dew, just pour it down the drain.
All right, why do you hate Mountain Dew? I have to ask now.
Like, it tastes like gorilla piss to me.
Wow.
You have never
known
tried
this.
Baja Blast. That's all I'm going to say.
I have tried the Baja Blast. It made me Baja Blast out of my butt.
Have you tried Code Red?
Yeah, it sent me to the emergency room with a code blue.
Okay, no, we shouldn't be joking about that. Having worked at a hospital, like Code Blue is serious business. That's cardiac arrest, by the way, for those wondering. I remember my shit.
Matty does his college homework.
Well, that's not even college homework. It's like the back of the badge they gave you when you work at the hospital.
Ah, right.
Yeah. It's a neat little thing.
Matty remembers his previous work experience.
Well, it's only been, like a couple of years since I got yanked out, pretty much. Wow, it's been 2 years. Fuck.
Where's the time gone?
Too fast. Too fast.
People said that 2020 was a time warp, and now I'm starting to believe them.
I would not be shocked. But I do know 2020 did happen because I had a birthday and I had ribs for that particular birthday, and I was happy in my head place, but that's another story for another day here. All right. I know we don't want to talk about this, but we got to talk about the Hell in a Cell thing. It did happen. And to correct myself from last week, yes, this indeed is the last pay-per-view in the Thunderdome era.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
There you go. So we are able to confirm that. It was at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida, the Thunderdome, as it were. As always, Roman, of course, as you heard, Roman Reigns did a Hell in a Cell situation over they moved it over SmackDown. The big reason, Roman wanted a day off. So there you go. That's why I had a pay-per-view caliber match on SmackDown. There you go. If you want to call it. Yeah, but by the way, before I do anything else, I'm looking at Card Junkies. Like Astros got rained out. He's watching Game 7. He's talking Islanders versus Lightning. The New York Islanders versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. We don't have to worry about that because my boys won last night. Woo!
And all of Canadian Twitter just lit up that moment.
Canadian Twitter?
Yeah, every Canadian wrestler I saw that I'm following on Twitter just went into celebration mode.
Dude, the entire goddamn province was doing dead to Daniel Bryan. Yes! Yes! Ole! 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 You get the idea, right? And Mike Shell was the obvious, by the way, to bring us back into the situation. So we're back. So we're finally getting beyond the Thunderdome. Nice.
Caitlin Cara.
Yo. Kaboom. Mr. Mike Shell, congratulations. You get a no prize. Well, we'll buy you a beer next time we meet. So they had a couple matches. Obviously, they subtracted one, so they had to add a couple things between our little programs here. The pre-show was Natalya featured with Tamina defeating Mandy Rose. It went 9:45. I did not watch the show. I chose not to watch it. I did not care to watch it. I might watch it down the line for historical reference, but that's it.
It was fine.
I got a question.
Sure.
Who the fuck let them out of catering?
Wait, Tamina and Dana Brooke? Well, Dana Brooke's always been decent.
All of them. They're still in catering.
Look, they got to give him a reason to not let him go, so they have to wrestle at least once a month.
Yeah, but who's going to serve out those delicious biscuits that Titus serves every night?
Let's see. I'm trying to think who's there.
Well, not the people on my list of people who were let go.
Is Dana Brooke still there?
She is. Dana Brooke's still there.
There you go.
She was ringside for that one, but you know what? It was a pre-show, to be fair, so they were probably back in catering and to lickety split. Bianca Belair and Bayley, they opened things up in Hell in a Cell. Bianca Belair retained in 1945. I've heard good things of this match.
Oh yeah, Bianca Belair versus Bayley was the match of the night for me.
It was pretty good. Again, did not deserve to be in the cell, but it was pretty good.
That's what I'm thinking, but that's another story for another day.
I especially love, I've got to say, the ending, though. KOD onto a ladder. Jesus, that was nice.
Ooh, that sounded painful, but that sounded so nice at the same time. Just visually nice.
All around good stuff. Another good moment was Bayley was setting up the double kendo sticks like she was trying to last year, but she was able to this year. And while Michael Cole was explaining that, Bayley just yells out, "They know, Michael! They watch me!"
That was...
Well, no wonder that got match of the night. It roasted Michael Cole. Anything that roasts Michael Cole in an in-ring format deserves match of the night. I completely understand your reasoning now.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm going to miss from the Thunderdome is Bayley constantly calling out Michael Cole in commentary because she can hear him because they're just like 2 feet away from each other.
Yep, roasted like good coffee beans.
Mm-hmm. Seth Rollins defeated Cesaro by pinfall and went 16-15.
This was a really good match. up until it randomly ended via small package.
I mean, that figures. So obviously the feud will continue. This is, I've read wrestling Twitter and heard that this was bullshit El Central, but Alexa Bliss defeated Shayna Baszler. This was by pinfall, and Reginald was doing a thing in 7 minutes? Wait, that was that long?
Yeah, so what happened was they started wrestling. It was fine, and then out of nowhere, Alexa Bliss looks over at Tamina, and she starts Nia Jax. She controls Nia Jax, forces Nia to slap the shit out of Reginald, and then after that happens, Shayna Baszler tries to lock in some submissions, but then Bliss keeps reversing until she hits a Sister Abigail DDT, and then she hits Twisted Bliss off the top and pins her.
Congratulations. That match made no fucking sense. And I just, like, this is teed up door. I'm assuming this is as accurate as you could get it, right?
Remember when Shayna Baszler was a hardcore badass?
Remember when she was an MMA badass that could break arms at a whim? Pepper Farm remembers.
Remember when she went all Mike Tyson on Becky Lynch? It was totally cool. Those were the days.
It's just a shame that the company doesn't seem to see much worth in her as a main event star.
Vincent Henley McMahon.
All because she is, quote unquote, not pretty.
Which I disagree with.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler is adorable.
Shayna Baszler is a beautiful person.
That she is.
Vince McMahon just wants big tits and blonde hair. That's what it is. I almost had a segue for that, but you know what you do when you have a shit match? Break the emergency glass and bust out Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. They went 12-40 this time, and Sami Zayn went over.
This was one hell of a match. God damn, like, you can have these two wrestle 12 different times, and they'll give you 12 different matches. I can't think of anyone else who's wrestled each other as much times as these guys have, and somehow able to always keep the matches feeling fresh. Congratulations.
It gives me a certain amount of reassurance to know that no matter what happens, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are utilities. You will have a great match if you put them in the ring together.
And I want them next year to have a Hell in a Cell match, because if there's any feud that has earned it, it's Owens versus Zayn.
There are so many layers to that feud that a Hell in a Cell is almost automatic.
Yeah, because there are partners, then enemies, then partners, then enemies, just constantly back and forth with legitimate reasoning behind every turn. It's one of the few things that always works in WWE.
I was about to say this too. This was the only match on the card that should have been in Hell in a Cell. They pretty much done everything one can imagine, from non-sanctioned matches to ladder wars to wars for titles and everything in between. Why not just escalate it to its ultimate conclusion inside Hell in a Cell? Not that it matters anymore.
It's a nice old school touch, if nothing else. And I like me some old school touches. Now, about that segue from earlier. Nice. Thank you. JC said Drew versus Lashley definitely deserved to sell, in my opinion.
To a degree, yeah, I could see. At least
to a certain degree, it definitely deserved a cage match more than a Hell in a Cell. But in that kind of context, and with the last chance stipulation, that's a fair opinion. That's an absolutely fair opinion.
If it hadn't been dragged out as much as it did, I might be inclined to agree.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if they had given it more of a break in between matches.
More than likely, yeah.
It deserved a special stip for certain.
No, yeah, that's what a steel cage match was an absolute lock. I think just the Hell in a Cell is like the natural evolution of the cage match in that sense. So that in that context, it's a fair opinion. But again, it's there is a lot more context to that makes you think that they probably deserve a bigger break than what they're getting. By the way, speaking of deserving, the Cells, Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Charlotte won by DQ and went 14-10. They went on Raw saying the Rhea Ripley. Could someone please explain to me who the fuck is the heel in this feud?
According to Dave Meltzer, they're both the heels in this feud.
So it's the Android versus the T-Mobile. Right. Gotcha.
So this match was really good. Charlotte was working over Rhea's leg. She was selling it like a boss.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, Rhea Ripley lifts the announce table lid. It's just happened to smack Charlotte in the face. And the referee calls for a DQ, even though we've seen this spot like a million times, and never ever has the ref ever called for a DQ until now.
So before I exclaim the words I want to exclaim, Shin, don't bash androids. Androids are good, and T-Mobile versus Android is not a fair feud. Heel versus heel feud.
It is in this case. You got one who's the original, and the other who's the knockoff.
Android phones are heels? What the fuck?
The Android, as in Charlotte Flair, is an android.
Okay, that's a stretch in my book. And T-Mobile is...
She is a robot. That is what I'm trying to say. She is pre-programmed to always go over, even when she loses.
Okay, then just say Android versus Terminator, for God's sakes. That makes more sense than Android versus T-Mobile.
I know what I said.
Dude, I know what you said. I still think I'm confused.
Well, they're I don't care about either of these women. Can we move on?
That makes
Fair
me
play.
sad because they're both so goddamn good and they deserve so much better than this.
Management can suck a cock. And in the main event, as previously mentioned, Bobby Lashley defeated Drew McIntyre. Last chance Hell in a Cell. They went 25-45. I know of one thing, or two things. One, they beat the piss out of each other. And B, what the fuck was that finish?
Yeah, they beat the shit out of each other from pillar to post. And then they eventually get MVP in the cage. And MVP starts interfering. And then Drew McIntyre's like, yeah, no, I'm not having any of this shit. Murders MVP until eventually MVP recovers, grabs Drew's leg, distracts him, and then Bobby Lashley rolls him up, grabs the tights, and that's how they end a Hell in a Cell match. God damn it.
I have a rant for that, but I'll wait for you guys to finish.
It's I'm trying to come up with words, but that is one of the worst. That's not the worst finish to a Hell in a Cell match, but it is easily top 5, man, because Jesus Christ, that is just disappointing. You have this giant escalation. These two are just hitting each other with everything they've got, just building and building and building, and then and that's it.
Like a wet fart in a thunderstorm.
Yeah, essentially. Just so...
Just judging from the description of what I've read, this sounds to me like a 2 out of 5.
Oh, most definitely. Like, there was so much good wrestling, but then it gets constantly undermined by the finishes. And this is a constant problem with this company. How many times have we come up here and we've told everyone, this wrestling was good on WWE, but they kept on screwing it up with the finish of the matches.
Shin, I'm going to let you do your rant before I jump into what I have in my head.
It's not so much a rant against the pay-per-view itself, but does anybody, both in this call and in the chat, remember when the Hell in a Cell was first debuted? No,
I started watching wrestling in 2001, but at that point, it was still like this ominous thing because I didn't see a Hell in a Cell match until 2002, Jericho versus Triple H.
Same here. Triple H versus Teddy. Actually, Triple H versus Jericho was my first Cell match as well.
Yeah. My first Cell match was the very first Cell match.
Michaels Taker.
Yeah. The build-up is what sold me on it because they kept showing these promos of them building the Cell. And they had this ominous choral music in the background going, and you had JR narrating over the shit, calling it an ominous demonic structure. And I remember seeing clips of that match, and I'm like, my God, what kind of match is this? And from that point on, the Hell in a Cell was my favorite gimmick match that WWE ever put on.
It was also enhanced by the fact that Mick Foley did what he did at King of the Ring 98.
Yeah, that too. And for me, Hell in a Cell was not something to be invoked so lightly. It was something that was a last resort. When people mentioned Hell in a Cell back in the day, assholes clenched up, skin puckered, sweat glistened off your forehead because you knew you were going into something that was going to fuck you up. How many gimmick matches get the descriptor of being called demonic? That is something you refer to as a living entity. It wasn't the Hell in a Cell was more than just a match to me. It was an entity unto itself. It had no friends. It only knew pain. And every time someone walked towards that cell for a match, and they'd look up, and all the brim and the bravado and the badass drained out of them, and they looked up and they see it, and they're like, "This is gonna fuck me up." Because back in the day, when a Hell in a Cell match was called, it was rare, like once every 1 or 2 years, and only when the feud demanded for it, like an intense, destructive blood feud, like Michael's Taker Mankind, Triple H Michaels, Batista Triple H, Undertaker Batista,
Undertaker versus Edge.
Yeah, Undertaker versus Edge, Undertaker versus Punk. All these awesome blood feuds brought to a crescendo by this cage.
Two words. I could sum it up in 2 words. The end.
Exactly. It was the end.
Because, as mentioned before, the match was literally a case of this was literally a case of the Hell in a Cell was the evolution of the traditional wrestling cage match, where 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, and that was the end of the feud.
That was it. It was a feud ender. And it was just as dangerous for the person who invoked it as it was for the person who was being faced off against it. I'd say the last true blood feuds we had for Hell in a Cell were Moxley versus Seth and the New Day versus the Usos. Those are the only 2 matches I can remember in recent history where it was warranted and expected that these feuds happen inside the Hell in a Cell. But now look at it. For me, Hell in a Cell is dead.
They made it annual. They made it arbitrary. And yeah, there's some matches in the pay-per-view that warrant a stipulation like Hell in a Cell. But it's not the same.
Yeah.
Oh, and they painted it up right because they got to sell them fucking toys.
Yeah. It's no longer special. It's no longer a feud ender. Feuds now get started because you have to have it in the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We don't see feuds end. We see feuds started.
I'm running the Fed. The pay-per-view stops, and I'm like, okay, no more Hell in a Cells until we have a feud that warrants it. I don't care if there's money involved. I don't care if there's a Mattel contract involved. That cell match is done for 2 years minimum. There is a cool down period before we put 2 dudes or 2 women back in that cell.
Yeah, and this was a gradual thing. They have steadily defanged and just flanderized what the Hell in a Cell is. Now, anyone could be in a Hell in a Cell. Didn't matter with how bad the feud, how good or bad the feud was. Didn't matter if you were in a feud at all. If you were feuding around Hell in a Cell time, you're getting a Hell in a Cell match. Add to that all these shit endings. We had 2 years back to back, where the Hell in a Cell match, the main event, ended with no one winning.
First event, 2009, by the way.
Yeah. It had no winner back-to-back years. And now we had Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre beating the shit out of each other, only for it to end on a roll-up. And what's worse, you want to even know the worst part about it is? Bobby Lashley made history. He became the first wrestler to wrestle in 2 back-to-back Hell in a Cell matches on 2 consecutive days. Think about it.
He had a banger against Xavier Woods, to be fair.
But it didn't call for it. I don't care how good
it didn't call for it. I completely agree. It did not call for it, but I caught that Hell in a Cell match on Raw. Those 2 had a banger.
I don't agree. I don't disagree with you on that, Matty.
Right.
But the problem, it's no longer special.
It really
No.
feels like it's been corporatized more than anything else. It's like, oh, this network wants Hell in a Cell match, so I guess they're going to get one because they asked for it.
It's become nothing but just another match. It is no longer frightening, no longer terrifying or intimidating. You could just call on a Hell in a Cell match just because, even if the feud doesn't warrant it. Sure, the matches will be good, but it has devalued the Hell in a Cell to the point where to me, the concept is dead. That is just for me, the Hell in a Cell match is dead after this week.
Dude, it's been dead since the honestly, the Stip has been dead since the Fiend versus Seth Rollins a couple years ago.
That match just made it sick. This week killed it. We had 4 Hell in a Cell matches over the course of 4 days.
By the way, if you hear me typing, I am adding another name to the list.
That is 4. That'd be a record, right? 4 in a week.
In a weekend.
Ooh.
4.
Yeah, the 4 matches. Yeah, because there was 1 on SmackDown, 2 on the pay-per-view, 1 on Raw, 4 at a weekend.
And Bobby Lashley was no worse for wear when he came out on Monday. He no-sold the Hell in a Cell. How the Triple H didn't no-sell the Hell in a Cell. Undertaker didn't no-sell the Hell in a Cell. Mankind damn sure didn't no-sell the Hell in a Cell. It's not special anymore.
I'll actually tell you exactly why that happens. There was this edict like years ago where Vince generally doesn't want people selling after the pay-per-view because he views Raw after the pay-per-view as essentially a new start. So what happened last night doesn't matter.
Yep, and that's part of the reason. So for me, until I don't want to see another Hell in a Cell match until, you know what, the only Hell in a Cell match I will be willing to watch after this week, Zayn versus Owens.
I think that's the only one. By the way, SmackDown, they said that they have Zayn versus Owens in a last man standing match for better or worse here. What he said, folks. What he said. Some exaggeration, obviously, but at the same time, the Stip's dead. It's been dead. Like you say, it was sick. No, it was dead. They were fucking a dead horse last week. That's what they were doing.
Yep. So for me, the Cell is no longer. I'm not even going to call it Hell in a Cell anymore. It's just a cage match. That's all.
Yeah, I mean,
and that breaks my heart.
Next year, because you know it's going to happen next year anyway. We'll officially call it what it is because that's what they intend on advertising it as. But yeah, agreed.
Hopefully,
now,
they'll change it back to October, so that way we can at least have a year plus off of this Hell in a Cell.
That could be one way of doing it, but at this point, unless they got something that is worthy of Hell in a Cell, I'm with Shin. Except we'll officially refer it. But as far as we'll have to officially refer it as Hell in a Cell, but in Wrestle-Cast vernacular, it's a red cage match.
I'm going to go one step further and take a page out of The Rock's book. From now on, until they actually start doing it right, I'm going to call it what The Rock called it: a penis in my anus.
Yeah, there's a callback for you right there. All right. Now I'm all about news, as obviously some of you have seen on social media and the Twitters and all that stuff. WWE did more cuts, this time to the NXT/205 Live roster. You heard me write it down. There was another name added just about an hour ago. Here is the list as it stands right now. Tyler Breeze and Fandango, 3.0. They call themselves Everrise. No, 3.0.
Scott Jacket Parker and Big Magic Shane Matthews.
I was just starting to like them.
I loved Everrise Live. I'll tell you this right now. August Gray, Arya Davari, Tony Nese, Marina Shafir. That's Roddy Strong's wife, by the way. The Bollywood Boys, Kurt Stallion, Arturo Ruas, Killian Dane, and just added about an hour ago, Tino Sabatelli. And for those wondering, are there more? No, that Tino was. It is widely reported that Tino was the last one to be cut today. All right, let's talk about the obvious stuff because Shin's in the call. The party's dead, folks.
Party is dead.
left, right has ended, and this is not the way anyone wanted this to end.
Yep. Just when they just finished training for the No Mercy tournament. God damn.
If I'm Austin Creed, I'm busting down Vince's door going, what the fuck did you do? But, you know.
And the sad part about it is that we lost one of the most, probably the most underrated tag team in the entire company.
And Breezango, yeah.
They were just, you guys know I wasn't high on Fandango when he first debuted.
None of us are, to be fair.
I was.
Well, you were because you're a troll, but still.
Yep. And then when they started doing those programs on SmackDown, and I'm like, why don't they just put Tyler Breeze and Fandango together? And then they did, and it was like magic. What they had was something special. It's like one of those teams that hook up randomly, but have such good chemistry together. They were born for it, like Beer Money or the Bar or the Varsity Blondes or just it just worked with
I'm very happy
It's
that I
the
got to see at
comedy.
least one. I'm very happy that I at least got to see one Breezango match live at a house show. That was a good entrance to see live.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. But Breezango, underrated tag team. The Fashion Files was appointment viewing. And JC brought another one in Team Hell No. That's a good example as well.
Yeah.
Everrise they were treated like jobbers, which, having seen 3.0 live, bullshit. WWE just cut one of the best tag teams they could have ever had. Oh wait, this is Vince's country. Vince's company. He fucking hates tag teams. You know what? At the very least, they got out together instead of being fucking split up.
Yeah,
Silver
the thing that
lining
surprised
on
me is
that one.
I thought they would be great in WWE because Shane Matthews is a great, energetic promo.
Such an awesome promo, and Chase Parker just follows along with it. But they will be an asset in either Impact or AEW. That is for certain.
I'll be surprised if the Young Bucks don't make a play for them because I'm almost certain they've wrestled each other at least once or twice on the independent scene.
3.0 in AEW would be a score for AEW. Yeah. Honestly, having seen 3.0 live, I'll be shocked if they land anywhere but AEW.
And of course, like all the cruiserweights could easily find homes in the X division.
Yeah, of course. Arya Davari, Tony Nese, that's a shocker right there.
Arya could reunite with his brother.
In Impact, yeah.
The Davaris.
The Davaris could be a tag team in Impact.
Those don't know. Sean Daivari showed up for a match on Before the Impact, which is their pre-show match last week.
He was swole.
Both dudes are fucking jacked, to be fair.
It's like Bollywood. There's just so much underrated talent here. I mean, Killian Dane could have been something. Tony Nese.
I'm shocked they didn't use him as a monster in the main roster. Big Damo, Big Damo was a score for them. That I'm shocked they haven't used him beyond Sanity.
Like it seemed like they had something with him and Drake, but they never went anything beyond mid-card comedy team, which disappointed because I thought, oh, clearly these guys are going to tag belts, but I guess I'm just an idiot.
Just like that, NXT lost 3 tag teams.
Right there. Because Everrise gone, Breezango gone, Damo and Drake split up.
I'm honestly shocked that Drake still has a job. I'm guessing he only has a job because they fired him last year and they don't want to repeat that.
How many tag teams does NXT have left?
Well, getting on to my next point, they just gained another one with the Diamond Mine.
They do, and Roddy Strong's part of it. That's a strong-ass debut.
Got the names right here. Led by Roderick Strong alongside Tyler Russ, Hideki Suzuki, and managed by the man who Walter fears, Malcolm Bivens.
That's a solid team right there.
It's a solid stable.
I'm just glad that Malcolm Bivens is finally getting TV time because he deserves it. He's such a good
Absolutely.
manager.
And it's good to see that the booking philosophy of NXT is still intact, where managers and stables are still a valuable tool to make stars.
Yeah.
There's at
And on
least
top of that-
that.
And on top of that, they're trying to give life at this point to the Cruiserweight title, although today probably was a huge
Today
stab
it
to
took it took a hard hit for sure.
Oof, this is
It's
That's
rough.
what trying to,
It's rough. Tony Nese, Arya Davari, Austin Gray, Kurt Stallion, Arturo
Tony
Ruas.
Tony Nese was my second favorite cruiserweight in the entire company.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause,
wondering
he had
now. I'm wondering who else is left from the CWC.
like all that's really technically employed by them as I'm thinking just Brian Kendrick, and he's just a producer at this point.
And
as
he's
far
a
as I can
producer. I mean, we're talking. Yeah, we need to talk about active now because holy crap,
tell. All gone. They're all gone.
they're all gone.
No, Wonder Bread's still there.
Oh, Gulak is still there?
Gulag? No, he was released earlier, wasn't he?
I don't remember seeing him being released.
This
All
is
right,
look at this.
here's what- here's what we have.
Released that we can't even keep track of this.
All right, here's what we have. We have Akira Tozawa, Alejandro Saiz, Anthony Bennett, Arya Davari, D. Brian Kendrick, Cedric Alexander, he's obviously gone, Clement Pieto, The Mac, Damian Slater, Drew Gulak, Fabian Eichner, Grand Metalik, Gerv Shira, of course, the Bollywood boys, Ho Ho Loon, Jack Gallagher, Jason Lee, Johnny Gargano. All right, so it's Gargano and Ciampa are still in there. So beyond that, and Wonder Bread, yeah, Wonder Bread's still in there. Dude, can you believe Zack Sabre Jr. was in this tournament?
As was Kota Ibushi.
As is Kota Ibushi.
All the way to the semis.
Wow.
Could you imagine? Like, it's weird to think about that. And then they became bigger stars outside of that tournament, outside WWE.
I'm looking at that list from Wikipedia. That's a fucking division right there. They fucked it up hard.
Swiss cheese now.
I will say this. The good thing about the Cruiserweight title, it is on the right person to handle the Cruiserweight Championship, and that is Kushida.
Put him back in jeans.
Well, he wasn't wearing jeans. He was wearing sort of like shorts.
I know. Put him back in jeans.
And he wasn't in jeans. Like he had shorts, baggy MMA shorts that looked like hoverboards.
We call them jeans down here as well.
Oh, okay. It's all jeans in Houston, I guess.
But put him back in those. He was cooler in those.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Put him back in shorts or jeans or whatever, not the tights.
And speaking of MMA stuffs, that's a perfect segue to AEW, which had Hager defeat Wardlow in an MMA match.
If I'm Dana White, I'm calling my lawyer. What the fuck is that? That was a parody of an MMA match. What the fuck?
It was an entertaining parody.
It was, you know what? It was fun. I had fun with it. I'll admit it. I had fun with it. But there's a part of me that going, Dana White's going to sue somebody.
Well, if it's a parody, then they definitely can't sue.
This is Dana White. And you know he's going to shit on something that is not UFC.
If Hulk Hogan couldn't sue the Blue World Order, then Dana White doesn't have a leg to stand on.
Oh, whoa. You want a stat right now? So the original ladder match to determine the first North American Championship.
Yeah.
Then you know the people in that match?
They're all gone.
Two remain. Cole, Ricochet. Everyone else gone.
Gone.
And for
Damn,
those
that's a
wondering,
cursed
Killian
match.
Dane, what's the big dude's name? I forgot. There was obviously the Velveteen Choke.
What's his name? Lars Sullivan.
Lars Sullivan, thank you.
I think that's the only time. If everyone gets released, then that'll be the most cursed 5-star match of all time.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah, I would not do that either.
After the MMA match, MJF attacked Malenko, which got a huge reaction from the audience.
Got a huge heel reaction. Obviously, the match was pre-taped because they had to move the cage out of the way to put the ring back in there.
Also, can I talk about what happened after the match
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Sure.
when Hager and Wardlow almost shook hands?
Yeah, looks like they're about to, about to give themselves a nice eye-to-eye contact and whatnot.
Yeah.
That was a nice match, Wardlow. It's a nice match too. You really pounded the crap out of me, Jake. Yeah,
Ladies
but
and
I
gentlemen,
almost
for
didn't.
those playing the home game, this is where you put in phrasing in their bingo card.
Yeah, but there wasn't. But you almost had me when you got me from behind. That should be their whole feud right now. Just vague sexual innuendos.
And like I said, speaking of coming from behind, MJF attacked Malenko from behind.
Yeah, that's the one move he didn't learn.
Yeah, the Pearl Harbor. He was too much of a good sportsman. We also saw Sky and Page defeat Darby Allin in a very predictable handicap match.
Yeah, this was, they gave Darby Allin all the hope spots, made it look good, but this was basically a Men of the Year beat down.
I actually like their name.
Men of the Year. Makes sense.
Didn't care for the match, but I like the name.
And what I found to be much more entertaining was OC defeating Cesar Bononi in a really nice comedy match.
Can I just say right now that I fucking love the Wingmen now?
Yeah, they've been super entertaining.
It's been built up.
And do you know what the best part about the Wingmen is? Despite being only jobbers on AEW Dark, when they had their first show in front of fans, the fans started chanting Hot Boy Summer at them, showing that they indeed watch, all their stuff. So those fans are awesome.
Well, if nothing else, there's continuity in this world. Fans will put over what they like, and obviously Jacksonville, for whatever reason, they like the Wingmen.
They beat you up and then they pretty you up.
That's what they do. However, they couldn't pretty up OC enough to defeat him.
Folks,
Also,
if a stupid idea works, it ain't stupid.
Can we also talk about Chuck Taylor and that amazing slide he did?
Oh, that
He brought
was
it back.
awesome.
He brought back the thumbs up meme.
I love that. I loved it.
Could slide on the ring apron.
Not the first time he's done it.
Won't be the last.
That match was great.
Also, afterwards, Peter Avalon holding Cesar in his arms. No!
And Orange Cassidy nearly corpsing.
Yeah, he almost corpsed. He almost had a smirk.
We also saw Ford defeat Hart in a pretty good matchup, and afterwards, Miro attacked the Varsity Blondes, who were, accompanying Hart to the ring.
Oh, Devin the Great. Mendoza! Thank you, Devin.
So I guess in the future, we're probably going to see Miro versus either Griff Garrison or Brian Pillman, or possibly both in consecutive weeks.
I look forward to those matches.
As do I. Should be some good stuff. Let's see. Andrade, in his interview with JR, had promised a surprise by him and Vicky Guerrero for AEW. What do you think that surprise is?
Los Ingobernables.
If he could bring in Naito, oh my God, that would be huge. There is an upcoming New Japan show coming in August in California.
Yeah.
Not sure if Naito I don't think has been announced for that show. However, would still be one hell of a thing to get him on it.
Just makes my biggest dream match in AEW possible.
Orange Cassidy versus Tetsuya Naito.
Yep. The first 30 minutes are them just seeing how lazy they could be to each other. The first 30 minutes are just them baby stepping to the ring because they're trying to outsloth each other.
That would be absolutely amazing.
We could keep fantasy booking, but we got an AEW to preview too to talk about and more news.
Let's see here. My next note here just says, please end the Nightmare Family versus Factory feud soon.
Yeah, I like the Factory. I'm just not liking this feud.
Yeah,
It just feels a bit one-sided in favor of the Nightmare Family.
Cody Rhodes is going to get booed out of the first building he enters. That's not Jacksonville.
Sad but true.
Call it now. Like, I love Cody, love the gimmick, love everything else, but the way they insist on booking him, he is going to get booed out of where are they now? Houston, Miami?
I think they're heading to possibly Miami first. I don't know. I can't remember, but I do know that this Wednesday on Dynamite will be the final Dynamite from Jacksonville for a long time.
They're leaving. They're going back on the road.
Which is weird because, in a weird way, Daly's Place kind of became a nice, snuggly place to watch every week.
You know what? I will say this. If Daly's Place is the home base from now on, like they come back to it 3, 4 times, 5 times a year, I'm not going to be too upset.
Oh, I'd be happy if they just do it for like special pay-per-views. Like
Yeah, like when they do the TNT specials or the special things that they do next year, you know, fill out Daly's Place. It's their home base. It's almost their MSG in a sense.
Yeah.
Except the best part is they own the building.
Yep. It's been a good place for us for the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Since the pandemic started, it was a bastion for everyone who loved pro wrestling, but at least needed some semblance of a crowd. But yeah, it's time to go back on the road.
And DJ Maestro, we're fine. We've been live for an hour, bud.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, there's a good sense. Mike Shell, Daly's Place is to AEW as the Manhattan Center was to the early days of Monday Night Raw. That makes absolute sense.
I remember those days.
Yeah, they had a lot of shows there, mainly because they would often tape like 2 to 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you could do that when you had a 1-hour show, and you can't do that nowadays. And, every show's 3 hours for Raw. Imagine taking 3-hour shows in one night. Jesus Christ.
Ugh, I don't want to imagine.
That crowd would be dead by midway through the second show.
Very true.
Very true.
Let's see. Tomorrow night, we're going to see for the AEW World Title, Jungle Jack challenging Kenny O.
Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega.
I predicted not only this will be match of the night, but it might be a match of the year candidate.
I don't think that's too much of a stretch, actually, to say that.
Jungle Boy has grown by leaps and bounds in the last year, and I legitimately buy him as a challenger for Kenny Omega. Not beat him, just challenge him.
And I can already hear like the Jim Ross call, just screaming his lungs out the moment that Jack gets that snare trap in, just screaming, "Do it! Get him! Get the win, kid! Make your dreams come true! Make your father proud!"
I could hear all three marking out trying to get that going.
And of course, Tony will drop some S-bombs because he just does not like Kenny Omega.
Can I just say how amazing it is that Tony Schiavone is more relaxed here than he ever was working for WCW?
I don't think that's a bad thing. Do you?
Not at all. Like, that's one of the things I love because, like, for WCW, he just seems so uptight and just by the book. Whereas here, he's just having a good time. He's just doing whatever, and it just seems like he's just having more fun here than he ever had doing commentary in the past. And it really comes through when you hear it.
He's become an integral part of Britt Baker's whole thing.
Yeah, and that's just something that just naturally came along. That clearly wasn't something they planned, but just they had natural chemistry with each other. So like, hey, let's just pair these two up. Like, I just love how so much of this programming is just, okay, we have something here that's clicking. Let's go with it. Let's work with it. Let's see where this goes. And if it works, they're going to keep using it. And if it doesn't, well, we tried. And it's, I love that. This is what I love about wrestling. Just experimenting with different ideas and seeing just how much some things work.
And yet WWE is so fucking rigid.
It's
like,
killing
who would have thought that goddamn putting Marco Stone with Jurassic Express would be worth anything, yet that worked. Like the Wingman. Wingman was clearly something that they threw together, but that's over now. The crowd loves it.
Because there are dudes who want to get it over. And they're working in a company that allows you the liberty of saying, okay, let's give it a couple of weeks. Let's see what happens.
Hey.
I seriously just can't wait to see where exactly they're going to go from here, because I do see Jungle Boy as a future main eventer, possibly next year. The only thing that he needs to work on is getting those mic skills up, because he's still kind of bland in that sort of area, unfortunately.
Too white bread.
Yeah. But then again, he's still young in this business. That's the thing.
And of course, he's in a minefield of great promo guys, so he has plenty to learn from.
He will learn by osmosis, and they're giving him the chance to actually practice those promos on, even if it's on live TV. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, the only way you're going to get better is by trying and failing multiple times.
And Mike Shell's like, AEW throws more stuff at the wall to see what sticks. So does WWE. If they, at this point, they're hitting more than they miss. To be fair,
I think WWE is, there isn't so many times where they do get a hit and they ignore it because the hit isn't what they have planned. They're so, like, they have this plan that they have, and they only want to go with their plan. If something comes along and it is better, they don't care. They only want to go with whatever their plan is.
It's the golden boy or nothing.
Yeah, like, we've had Miro, we've had Matt Cardona, we've had Dolph Ziggler. We have so many people get over, but they weren't in the plan, so sorry, back to the mid-card with you.
You know, in WWE, you don't get over unless they say you get over. Doesn't matter what the fans think. If you're not over with management, you're not over. Not with them.
And by management, he obviously means Vince McMahon. Ultimately,
I would throw in Rick Khan, no relation to Tony Khan, but he obviously does not give a shit about wrestling. Not at all.
No, he worries about the bottom line. But then again, that's technically his job.
He's what we call a bean counter.
Yeah.
After what Sean Ross Sapp said about him on Twitter.
What did SRS say about him?
He said that Nick Khan did not care who was. He just wanted to cut some names. He didn't care what they were doing, what storylines they were involved in, who they were married to, how long they've been with the company. If he wanted them gone, they were gone. Didn't matter what kind of storyline they were involved in.
I could sense there's a clash because I'm pretty sure Samoa Joe was a Nick Khan move, and then Triple H was like, "Fuck you, that's Samoa Joe. Bring him back in."
Yeah, I would not be surprised if. Like, I don't want to say there's going to be a civil war per se, but...
Oh, dude, you could say it. It sounds like it's going to be a civil goddamn war. I'm just going to throw this out there, even though I know it's never going to happen, but could you imagine if this somehow pisses Triple H off so much that he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here? Could you imagine? You know what? He is at an age where he could look at his wife and go, we don't need this shit. We got fuck you money.
Could you imagine a world of wrestling without Triple H? That's not existed in decades.
The world of good he's done wrestling with NXT.
All the young talent and indie talent he brought in to show a bigger audience, to say, hey, we care about wrestling too, and then to see all of his hard work go down the drain once they hit the main roster.
And to comment on Mike Shell's stance, the writer that got released, I feel bad for her because she's one of many
the writer,
writers.
yeah. I don't know if he's on your list or not, but we could bring that up.
She's not, but
she's not.
She isn't, but
yeah. Kenise Mobley, for those not to know, she was on a podcast and basically said she had no idea about anything about wrestling. All they cared was, can you write good and can you do good comedy? And she said yes to both. I said, come on in.
Yeah, and I feel so bad for her because she has so much backlash for that, when in reality there are so many writers there that are fit the same bill, because that's how WWE hires people. They don't want people with wrestling experience. They just want big Hollywood people. And once again, I feel I put no ill will towards any people that get hired, because that's just WWE standard process. I put all the blame on WWE management.
No, this is
for doing
management
this.
and WWE. This is literally Vince and a bunch of glad-handing yes douchebag yes men. Thank you, CM Punk, for the line, not mine. Who come in and say we need more mainstream. We need more mainstream when the idea of their niche is so alien to them. When AEW accepts the niche and go, you know what? Let's just go after the people who just want to watch wrestling.
Yep. On one hand, I feel bad for her for getting fired, but on the other hand, she really shouldn't have been brought in.
She shouldn't have been brought in. She A should have been brought in. B, if you got the job, shut up. Just wait till you're fired, then you do the shoot. You don't do the shoot when you're just going into the damn company.
Well, that's the thing. When you don't have any wrestling experience, you're obviously not aware of any sort of etiquette or anything like that. But once again, I don't put any of the onus on her. She clearly, she didn't know anything about wrestling, and that's not her fault. And she clearly seemed like she was going to research her way through it and learn about it. So once again, she could have been someone useful. But once again, this is WWE where all they care about is the bottom line and nothing else.
Or she could have been the writing equivalent of Adnan Virk.
I doubt that. I seriously doubt that.
The possibility was there. And she would have been just saying it would have been possible.
Although I will say, to any person that put a threat towards her in any way, what the hell? What's wrong with you? Get a life.
Eat a dick, those guys.
For those who don't know, she received massive backlash by a lot of people for some fucking reason. Like I said, they hire so many writers that fit the same criteria, so it's just kind of annoying to see her get singled out just because of one interview.
Oh my God. The 205 Live active roster is now down to 4 guys.
Holy shit!
What the fuck?
From the 404 on Facebook, in addition to the 77 previously mentioned superstars, WB has also released Samir and Sunil Singh, as we brought up the Bollywood Boys. This now takes the active 205 Live roster down to a whopping 4 superstars. That show is dead.
Yeah, God damn it. God damn it.
It's Kushida, Santos Escobar. Who are the other 2 guys?
Eric Strong, I assume.
Roddy Strong. Do you think Roddy Strong isn't going to be in the cruiserweight division?
Oh, well, he's competing for the cruiserweight title right now.
Yeah, that's right. I remember. So that's 3. Who's the last one?
Kyle O'Reilly, maybe? He had that match against Kushida.
This is depressing.
That belt is almost worthless.
Like the
only reason that championship has relevance is because Kushida's holding it right now. That's it.
That's why I said almost.
Oh man, oof.
I mean, I hate to say that Kushida's life support, but Jesus Christ, that may as well be that.
You know what, Kushida? I doubt you'll be listening to this, but dude, as soon as you drop that belt to somebody, go back to New Japan. There is nothing for you here.
The weird thing about Kushida is
run out the contract, and then when they tell you they got nothing, chill out. They'll eventually see your contract and cut you, and then 90 days later, you're back in New Japan, kicking all the asses.
Here's the thing about Kushida, though. He is a huge WWE fan. This is his dream job.
His dream is about to turn into a nightmare.
The only thing I find is that this is kind of ironic that he left New Japan to go from a star of their cruiserweight division to just now being stuck in this cruiserweight division.
If you can even call it that.
Man.
Oh man, I can't even include Santos Escobar in this because he's going after the North American title.
Yeah, he's just going after the heavyweight titles now.
So the only people that Kushida could possibly feud against is, outside of Roddy Strong, is Performance Center guys.
Fuck. Well, hopefully they can start using some of those Performance Center people because, as far as I can tell, that place is still pretty full up.
and maybe that one black guy in Hit Row whose name I can never remember.
The guy that isn't Swerve.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. I
Ooh,
know
this guy.
Swerve. I know Swerve. I know Top Dollar. The other two, their names, I never remember their names. That should tell you how I feel about Hit Row.
Well, I'll end this news segment with some good news.
Please.
Coming soon to the DLC, a free DLC update for Retromania Wrestling will be the arena, the home of the Blue World Order.
Still need to get that game.
Yep,
Yup.
it's gonna be a Blue World Order ring. There's gonna be a blue stage, blue mats, blue ring ropes, blue ring, blue lights. Everything is blue, dabba dee dabba die. And as a nice little touch, if you look in the crowd, you can even see Mrs. Meanie.
Oh, that's a neat touch.
Yeah, this is a nice little thing. They didn't have to do that, but they did because the developers fucking care.
That's what I like to hear.
I just can't wait to get that DLC because it's going to be James Storm, Old Bay Seasoning, and Mr. Hughes.
I'm happy in my head space.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I put this at the bottom of the list. Like, I'm saving this for last because I know that eventually things might get a little bit heavy. So, put that in the last. That way, last thing we can talk about can be happy, put smiles on all our faces, be happy about the eventual happiness that is the Blue World Order Arena.
Yep.
I was going to see what other arenas because I want to see them get wide. I want to see an arena in space. No, I got it. This arena will lead us to the moon!
Yes. That's like the one good thing out of NXT right now, that feud. LA Knight doing the thing. Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
All right, time. All right, what time is it, Matty?
Shall we know the winners and or losers?
That is, unless anyone else has any news they'd like to bring to the proverbial table.
About Shin, I'll let you go first.
I got nothing.
Well, I got something. Go Abs, go! For
Things
those
that put people in
wondering,
their happy place.
for those wondering, the Montreal Canadiens, my favorite hockey team ever, they won their series against the Vegas Golden Knights and are now going to the Stanley Cup Finals, the first Canadian hockey team to do so since 2007. 2007, and this is their first appearance since their 93 run for the Cup. So here's that. Also, not Wrestle-Cast, Wrestle-Cast. Devin, come on. All right. That being said, go Abs, go. Shin, I know you've been holding back on them D cells. I know you're ready for that.
Make this channel a not safe for work channel because I'm about to whip out.
By the way, before JC, surprised you didn't talk about Vicky Guerrero challenging Britt tag match.
Well, it did happen.
Oh,
that happened. And
I'm hoping that doesn't suck.
That's all we could say. Like, if we're talking discussion points there, JC, not happenings on. That's a news channel. We discuss news, not make news.
I hope.
Usually.
I just hope that one thing that I hope happens is at the last second, Vicky's like, "By the way, our surprise is my replacement," and in comes Zelina Vega.
There you go. That could be one way to do it.
I would like that very much.
Anyways,
Oh, but by the way, Mike Shell also to make you happy. Super Butterfly Nicole Cross. We'll get to her. Believe me, we'll get to her.
Thank you for reminding me.
Go ahead, Shed. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I try to keep Monday Night Raw off our list just to keep the rage down. Mike Shell, just let you know, I do that on purpose. We have enough rage going on, different things going on, where I'm like, you know what, Raw, No. We don't need you this week.
No, you know what? I got thoughts on this. Obviously, outside of the Hell in a Cell match, I had thoughts on Nikki Cross. But let's who gives a fuck? Let's get back on the rails here. Come on.
So anyway, my 2 D-Cell Battery Awards go to Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Nick Khan, no relation to Tony Khan. That is how I will refer to him from now on. That is my thing. Don't steal it from me.
No, fair enough.
Jim will sue you.
Mostly because of all these damn cuts. So many talented wrestlers. Some in the middle of of some storylines just cut for no reason. And all because of Nick Khan, no relation to Tony Khan. Just stupid on both their parts. As for my losers, Hell in a Cell for just, well, you already got her. You gave your rating, so yeah, already. Nicole Cross and her super butterfly thing. Remember there was a wrestler back in the early days of NXT called Nikki Cross, and she was crazy like a cat in a wet bag, and no one could really predict what she was gonna do. She was hot, but she could also bite your ear off. And remember how she took Asuka to her limit in that awesome last woman standing match, and how she wanted to fight Shayna Baszler not just for the title, but because she was fucking insane. Then they brought her to the main roster, and they just made her generic. And now this. I know someone's going to be saying in the comments, hey, this is what Nicole Cross wants. She enjoys it. Like, all right, let me do it like this. Say I want to go to Africa and fuck a giraffe.
Oh, God.
according to John Oliver, the giraffe is the most fuckable animal on the entire planet. And I tend to agree. Now, a giraffe could potentially kill me, because giraffes are fucking dangerous and they're wild animals and they don't want people to fuck them. My point being, just because you want to do something does not make it a good idea. So yeah, I don't care if she likes it. It's gonna suck. The only superhero I want in my professional wrestling is the Hurricane, and only because I met him and we talked about hamburgers for 10 minutes.
What? Hamburgers?
Yeah.
He talked about Five Guys. I talked about Whataburger. We just shot the shit, and then he was talking about, hey, I just can't believe that I just want to be hired by Five Guys so I can do an ad saying I can't believe I want Five Guys in my mouth. And my last loser is, of course, Hit Row. I like the idea of Swerve having a faction, but there's nothing really special about them. They keep talking a big game, but they had their they had the other Top Dollar and that other guy had their debut again, which would turn out to be the last match that Everrise would have on NXT, and it was forgettable. Top Dollar is just an average big man, nothing amazing about him. He does big man spots, but I mean, he's no Bronson Reed, he's no Dexter Lumis, and he's damn sure not Keith Lee or a Big Double D. Hit Row as a collective does not impress me, and I have yet to be impressed by them.
By the way, I'd like to bring up another superhero gimmick that actually works. Hyper Misao.
That too. Oh, let's not forget Super Eric.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
Super Act for sure. And let's not forget Mighty Molly.
Of course.
And of course, the great Rosie.
Superhero Rest in Peace, the superhero in training.
Yes. Yeah, she'll have all the creative freedom she wants, JC. Doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Here's the thing. Whatever good she might have, I can't help but feel like WWE is going to take her idea and just run into the ground.
Honestly, given what we learned from one of the released female wrestlers, something tells me she has to say that she enjoys this, because if you don't like something, they're just not going to book you.
Look, I have my thing. D-Dub, let's do your losers.
Go ahead.
Or just VKM/Nick Khan. Those are my losers this week.
All right, for my losers, WWE and Nick Khan. I think that is a sweep of a sense.
Can we give it the broom?
I think you get the broom. Get the broom.
Get the broom. Sweep this up.
Yep. All right, Jen, your winners.
Winners. Oh, we got some winners this week. Of course, LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. Best bed right now. AEW for a lot of shit, including my new love for the Wingmen. I want to see more of them. They're great. Tomorrow night's Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. It's going to bring the house down. It's going to bring the house down. And a special winner to the party, just for being for entertaining us for over a year with Uno matches every week. It has been gutted, thanks to VKM. And I'm not sure
Nick
where
Khan, no relation to Tony Khan.
There you go. And I'm not sure where the party goes, or where even left right goes, even if they're still a thing, since they just lost their leader. But thank you for all the entertainment you've given us, Breezango, and everyone else who got let go because of things. Those are my winners.
Teed up.
My one winner this week goes out to Tony Storm for coming out as bi. Welcome to the community.
Fair enough. Also, Tempest from Wrestle Talk came out as well. So there you go.
Ah, cool. Very nice.
Yeah. And a fellow Canadian as well. Just a quick shout out there.
Canada, Matty's home and native land.
All right. It's our home and native land. Don't fuck up the lyric, man.
Well, I
All
can't say our because I'm not Canadian. You are. So it's your home and native land.
Fair enough. Don't go after him, folks. He's just trying to be polite. All right. This one's going to shock you. Nikki Cross.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Let's hear this, Mr. Matty.
First off, yes, it's stupid, but it's her idea, and she was encouraged by the guy that just got released on today in Killian Dane. But that's neither here nor there. She went from barely being on TV to a couple of TV matches where she was supposed to look like a dumb jobber, to, hey, I think I have an idea. I'm going to pitch it while the iron's hot. Strike while the iron's hot in this case. A wise man once said, multiple times this week I've said this, but it's true here. If a stupid idea works, it's not stupid. It's getting her on TV in a prominent role, despite the bullshit of the role. It's the Alexa Bliss stealing Bray Wyatt's Fiend gimmick, let's be honest. But if it keeps her going beyond the 3-week wall, stupid as the idea might be, it ain't stupid. Now, does she look ridiculous? Yeah. Does she look like a weird superhero with those colors? Definitely. Is it my thing? Probably not. Hey, I like superheroes. I like that stuff. But it's not vibing with me right now. But if this gimmick sells action figures, sells, Halloween costumes either this year or next year, if it's a stupid idea and it works, it ain't stupid. We're gonna roast it as we've been doing for a couple of minutes here and there. And whenever Nicole, and by the way, for the record, she's insane by trying to dress it up as a hero. So I say we call her Nikki Cross again. It's just a different section of batshit crazy.
You can do that if you want.
All right, we're
now. Now I'm gonna have to put this shit together again. Fuck this fucking internet sometimes. Jesus Christ. All right. Now we can do the plugs.
I guess you're starting with me first, huh?
Yep, go right ahead.
You can always find me at Maxacorn on YouTube, where you can find the latest and greatest in Warlord lore videos, as well as upcoming series like Manga You Should Be Reading, and a few fanfic readings if someone pays me on Patreon, which probably won't happen since my Patreon has been touched in, 2 years? But anyway, let's see. You can also buy my book, New World, on Amazon. Just look me up as New World under Greg Haynes. It's $7.99 for digital, $17.99 paperback. I am working on the sequel as we speak. Crimson Rogue, please. It's been 3 years. Find some time to review your work. I know you have the book. I have a picture of you holding my book. Please review it. And also make sure to tune into my channel. Make sure to get all the latest fan arts for characters that I make up that annoy TWK. Because I'm a bastard.
All right, Tita, plug away.
All right, there's my YouTube and podcast in the link right there. YouTube videos will be starting up again for 5 straight weeks, starting Monday, July 5th. So get ready for that.
And of course, you could follow us on. I think people fucking left.
No, JC's still there.
Twitch is saying there's 0 viewers, so
No, it's
oh
a
no, it's
delay.
back
It's a
to
delay.
4. People left though. People left.
Yeah, some people left, but you gotta remember there's delay in these things.
Yeah. All right. You can follow us on Twitter at ManaJ316, at TWK Official, at Shintigercurl, and all that good stuff. Patreon.com/TWK Reviews if you want your stuff early. The PayPal, the tip jar, PayPal.me/ManaJ316. Shin's book. Buy it immediately. And we'll be back next week. We were right at the finish line. I have to listen to the entire show again. Because I don't have Movie Maker. Or no, I'm not going to get fucking Movie Maker because I can't get fucking Movie Maker. Don't ask me why. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you very much for tuning in, as per usual. Until then, and enjoy Saturday Night Dynamite, by the way, of course. On behalf of Shintigercurl.
Sonya says hello, T-Dub.
And TWK.
Harley Grace says hello as well.
Huh. My name's Matty J. That's saying Nikki Cross says superpowers. I got nothing on that one.
Championships! Yeah!
Championships! Yeah! Championships! Yeah! We're back on track. My name's Matty J. Remind you to tell professional wrestling support your independent promotion as soon as possible. We shall talk to you next week, folks. Have a good one. Have a safe one. We'll be back next week. Bye, everybody. Bye.
The last few weeks, I've been working on how to physically display to all of you the spark that's been going on inside my heart. And I'm so excited to finally be able to share it with all of you. And I won't be alone, because no matter how far down we fall in life, we all share the same positivity, the same spark, the same spirit to win. Tonight, I represent all of us, no matter our shortcomings. So this embodies everything that we all have inside of us.
You serious?